And here I am today with the lead singer of In Excess before me and one of Australia's greatest heroes, Mark Donaldson, following me. So my life's been a bit of a journey. At 18 years of age, I was a shearer in a small town called Cumnock in the central west of New South Wales. Left the shearing sheds of Cumnock and went to King's Cross. Within a few months, I'm at the aftermath of the Hilton bombing. My life and my environment had changed dramatically. I then followed a path into detective work, working at Darlinghurst. Met some great people, some not so great people, including Roger Rogerson, who I worked with for a short time before Roger and I didn't quite see eye to eye. In the Special Breaking Squad, responsible for taking on some of Sydney's most notorious gangsters and criminals, one of whom was Neddy Smith. I was part of the team that arrested Neddy the morning he was about to do an armoured car robbery at the Botany Council. Apart from all the very exciting things I did in the police force, there were some challenging moments. I think one of the most challenging moments was at Crescent Head on the mid-north coast of New South Wales in 1995. A lady had rung up and said, my ex-boyfriend has graffitied my car, no big deal, and he's threatened to kill me, a little bit more serious. What she didn't tell the police was that he also had a .223 calibre semi-automatic rifle, and he used to dress up in camouflage gear and go and practice in the bush as though he was a commando. So a gunfight erupted. Bob Spears was shot in the head and dropped to the ground dead. Pete's trying to call for help on the radios, and the radios didn't work. And I have to say, to see the sight of a police officer dead in uniform laying in the middle of the street was a pretty horrific sight. But when I found Pete's body, it was a bit different. Pete being a mate of mine, it really got to me personally. And that was a time that my psychological health started to deteriorate quite rapidly. And the rescue of the child was probably the straw that broke the camel's back as far as my mental health was concerned. My life went into a rapid downward spiral of mental breakdown and abuse of alcohol and destruction of my body. Being like most blokes, we tend to mask these things pretty well, and my wife Deb had no great idea of what was actually going on. Things got to such a state where I became suicidal. And I can assure you, when you become to that state where you have these overwhelming feelings of hopelessness and absolute worthlessness, and there's no prospect that you will ever get better, the easy option, or the most appealing option, is to take your own life. So one morning while my wife was sleeping, my baby girl was sleeping, I kissed them goodbye, went to work, got my gun out, the intention of going to shoot myself. A workmate walked in, saw something wasn't quite right, he got my gun and they took me home. That night I was before the crisis counsellor at the hospital, and I just broke down, just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. Deb really had no idea what was going on, because she saw this bloke who had been a rugby player, a rugby coach, a basketball coach, a pillar of the society in Coffs Harbour, lauded as a hero for saving this kid, and here he is, just a complete and broken man. And when I told the counsellor about these nightmares I was having, she said to Deb, we've got to lock Al up, we've got to schedule him in the mental health unit. And Deb said, absolutely not. You're not taking my husband. But I got a phone call one day to say, congratulations, Al, you've been discharged. I said, I beg your pardon. I've never applied for a discharge. I said, not our problem. All the very best to you. That was it, career over. So then I was like, okay, Al, what are you going to do now? At 40 years of age, ex-cop. And I had to reinvent myself and try and make some career and some life for myself, to try and find my sense of worth again. And I just didn't know what to do.